You can learn to speak any language in 3 months with this simple daily routine. 3 simple daily habits that you need to do consistently, and you'll see results. Pretty spectacular results, I might add, but you have to do it consistently. Language learning is really simple. There's a lot of nonsense out there about how you should learn a language, but in reality, there are just 3 things you need to do. You need to learn a lot of vocabulary, and you need to learn it fast and in context. So you need to learn sentences. You need to listen to the language a lot, and you need to speak the language a lot. And if you do these 3 things daily, the right way, you'll see results quickly. You should also avoid what doesn't work, because even if it's not really harmful in most cases, it's still a waste of time, and your time is limited. So things like language apps, or grammar books, or comprehensible input YouTube channels, you should avoid them like the plague, because they are going to be a massive waste of time. And in the case of apps like Duolingo, not only are they a waste of time, they're also actively harmful, because they're frying your brain, they're destroying your ability to concentrate, and they're going to make it very hard, if not impossible, to do deep work in whatever you're doing, not only language learning, and they're going to sabotage your progress in every project that you have. So avoid all these things and start learning seriously. Use your time efficiently and do serious work, alright? So what should you actually do? Well, basically there are 3 things you need to do every day. The first one is obviously learn more sentences. Vocabulary is extremely important in language learning, because if you don't know the words, you are not able to speak the language or understand it, right? So you need to learn a lot of words, and the most effective way of learning them is in context. So you should learn sentences every single day. And you can aim for any arbitrary number that you want, but I recommend going for 100 new sentences every single day. This sounds like a lot, and it is a lot in the beginning, but after a week of doing this, it will not be a lot. Once you get used to it, it'll be easy, alright? 100 sentences are a few minutes of audio. You can review them easily, and you can learn new ones easily once you know the basics of the language. The first few days are going to be challenging, but after that, it's just going to get easy. So basically, you need to take 100 new sentences every day, either sentences you want to be able to say in a specific context or about a specific topic, or sentences that contain words that you want to learn, all the common words in the language. You start with the most common 1,000 words, and then you expand your vocab this way. All you need to do is to read the sentences with the translation next to them and understand them. You memorize the vocabulary with mnemonic associations, and this is extremely powerful, by the way. And after that, you automatically do active recall. You test yourself. You try to translate from your language into the target language immediately after seeing the sentences for the first time. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and this is great because this is how you learn. You get your new sentences for the day, you read them, understand them, repeat them aloud maybe a few times, and then you test yourself on your knowledge. And you test yourself several times with this list. And even if you don't get all of them or even most of them right, it doesn't matter. It's still really powerful if you do it like this. Because then you'll have audio files of these sentences that you can listen to every single day for the rest of these 3 months. Because 100 sentences are just a few minutes of audio. And if you listen to it in the background, you can listen to thousands and thousands of sentences every single day. And this way you can review everything that you've been learning every single day. This is the easiest and most efficient way to do spaced repetition. Flashcards are alright, but if you're learning a lot of vocab, a lot of sentences, you'll very quickly have a massive amount of flashcards to review, and it's going to be impossible. But if you've got audio files of all those sentences that you want to review, you just have to play them in the background. And if you've encoded the information correctly, by using mnemonic associations and by doing active recall right after getting exposed to the sentences, you'll remember them well enough to understand them when you listen to them. And this will allow you to review them easily, without wasting time. So these are steps 1 and 2. Learn 100 new sentences every day with mnemonics and active recall, and review today's sentences and all the previous ones by listening to them. Lots of repetition. And the last step is simply to speak. Because in order to get good at speaking a language, you need to speak a lot. And the easiest way to speak the language is by taking those sentences and repeating them aloud a lot. You listen to them and repeat them aloud. You read them aloud from the text. You do shadowing. You listen to them and repeat at the same time. Of course, you do active recall as well. You translate them into the target language aloud and then check if you said them correctly or not. And finally, of course, you talk to yourself. Simply take your phone and you pretend to have a conversation. And you use all these sentences and you do freestyle practice this way. This is going to be very difficult in the beginning, of course, but if you do it 10, 20 times a day, 30 seconds each, a minute each, very quickly, after a few weeks, you'll be able to say a lot. You'll be able to use a lot of these sentences naturally in conversation. And if you keep doing this every single day, memorizing more sentences, listening to them a lot, and repeating them aloud a lot, and then trying to use them freestyle, you'll be able to speak fluently in less than 3 months. Any language. This works for any language. If you want to try all these techniques, simply watch my step-by-step tutorials.